channel. I have got a book video for you today. Stacks of books everywhere. We're going to chat about books for a minute. I was kind of looking for almost sort of a filler video this week because I didn't film last week. And with Thanksgiving this week, and trying to film next week's weekly vlog and just being busy, I was having a hard time coming up with an idea. And then we bought some books, so I thought a book haul would be nice. And then I figured maybe I'd just give you a little update on where we're at for November. So let's get right to it. As far as November goes, I have read 10 books so far, the majority of them being up there. And I'm well on my way to finishing another 7. So it's entirely possible that I will have read 17 books by the end of November. We will see if that has happened or not. But yeah, it's been an exciting month reading. Books have just been my escapism, my anxiety cure, my happy place the last month or two. So super getting into this. And I would say so far of the books that I've finished, my 2 favorites probably are The Outsider by Stephen King, which was so good. Actually, let me grab that. Here it is. Jason read it first and he loved it. And I mean, this is not a short book. I want to say 600 pages, 640 pages. He finished it in a couple of weeks. I finished it in like a week. We just absolutely loved it. And I will talk even more in depth about all of these books in my November wrap up, but really, really loved it. Highly recommend. We started watching the show on HBO though, and we don't care for it. So yeah, I don't know if it's just that the books set us up for high expectations or what. We don't really care for it, so we're not going to finish it. But yeah, and then I would say probably my second favorite thus far is City of Bones, which is the first book in the Mortal Instrument series by Cassandra Clare. It's a young adult fantasy book, and if you don't know what that is, basically a lot of vampires, werewolves, fairies, that kind of stuff, which I thought, yeah, not gonna really enjoy that probably, because that wouldn't normally be really my thing. But it's been so highly recommended, and I found it at the library and I loved it. I raced right through it. I can't wait to get the next one. And it along with another book here has kind of started my dive into young adult fantasy books for sure. Anyway, so yeah, those are probably my 2 favorite of the ones I've read so far. If you want to hear more about the books that I have finished reading, you'll have to check out my November wrap-up video. Not going to give everything away here. But for the 7 books that I am still working my way through, I've got The White Lioness. It's a Swedish murder mystery, Inspector Kurt Wallander. It's very slow. It's not really grabbing my attention. I'm about halfway through, a little more than halfway through. If there's any book here that I'm not going to finish this month, it might be this one. Maybe my opinion will change. You never know, but I'm not loving it. It started out great and then it kind of just went flat for me, but we'll see. I do have my Kindle here because I am reading a true crime book on my Kindle, and it is really gripping. I had 2 true crime books on my list, and one of them I ended up DNFing or do not finishing because it just was so slow and I didn't care about the people, even the victim. I realize this isn't a story, it's true crime, so I hate to say that, but even the victim was not a good person from everything that I've read. And so it was just really hard for me to just thought, this is just one of those things. It's obviously, it's unfortunate that someone, passed away or was a victim of a crime, but yeah. The one I'm reading now is called Into the Water, and it is very sad, but very good writing and very interesting. It's a story I didn't know anything about. Basically a serial killer, I guess I would call this guy. He's killed several young girls so far, and I don't think he's done. In regards to the book, like I said, I don't know anything about the real story, but yeah, very sad, but very well written, so very interesting. I am finishing the third in the Pretty Little Liars books. I watched the show years ago, and I watch it every once in a while as like a comfort show. And I didn't like the first two books. They're very different from the show, and I didn't like them, but this one's bringing me back around. I'm enjoying the direction they've taken, so I think I will probably finish this series. This one has got to be my favorite of the books that I still haven't finished, and that is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. So this is another young adult fantasy book, and I'm about halfway through. And honestly, it's just the volume of books that I'm reading is the reason I haven't finished it yet, because I want to give it my full attention because I'm absolutely loving it. It's one book in a duology, so there's a second book that I definitely want to get my hands on pretty quickly. And yeah, we just got rid of our Netflix, and I see that there is a Netflix show related to this, so we might have to pick Netflix back up. We'll see. But yeah, really, really loving it. It's basically like 6 young people who are different varieties of criminals with different varieties of skill sets. And yeah, I'll talk about it more later, but it is definitely a young adult fantasy book, and I am really, really enjoying it. Really good story, really good writing. And then I've got 3 murder mysteries are the final 3. So I've got this Every Crooked Path, which is about FBI agent Patrick Bowers. I've read some of his Stephen James books on Patrick Bowers before. There were like 3 or 4 new ones that came out that happened prior to the ones we'd read before. So I'm starting with these, and then I'll probably reread those because it's been years, but really good. It's a tough topic because it's a child pornography ring that they're dealing with. But they write about it very tastefully, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm giving you a little bit more information than I probably should in a quick update. This is probably more like wrap-up information, but so be it. And then this is my first cozy mystery in the series that we bought when we were in Massachusetts in September. And I am not very far in this one yet, but it will be a very quick read once I get going. This one just kind of always ends up at the bottom of the stack when I'm reading. But I am enjoying it. It's really cute. I love the setting. A good cozy whodunit. So I will probably just sit down and knock this one out in a couple of hours at some point. And then the last one that I'm reading, which is the one that I am focusing on right now because it's my last library book, so it needs to be returned, is Hidden by Kendra Elliott. I knew nothing about this author. I just picked it up. It's called a Bone Secrets novel. I just found it at the library, and it was the first one in the series. And it's basically like a co-ed serial killer story. So right up my alley, very interesting. I'm a little more than halfway through this one. I finished all my other library books, and this is the last one. So this is today's focus. So that's kind of a little update on where I'm at with my November books. And there will be a November wrap up, probably the first Friday in December, along with a December TBR. But then I also have a little haul here for you. So Jason and I went to Barnes & Noble the other night. I had a bummer of a day, and he came home from work and said, hey, let's go have dinner and buy a book, because he knows me and he knew that would make me happy. So we went to Barnes & Noble, and the first book we bought, we fully judged it by its cover. Jason picked it up and he was like, I need to own that book. We need to own this book. Look at how beautiful this is. And I mean, look at it. The gold sword, the fall leaves. It's so pretty. And we had kind of set ourselves on buying it no matter what. It was a Barnes & Noble exclusive cover. And then I said, well, let's find out if it's at least a book that we might want to read. And he said, oh, it's by Cassandra Clare called Chain of Gold. It's a young adult fantasy book by the writer of City of Bones, which I just told you is one of my favorites that I'm currently reading, or that I actually have finished reading. So I was excited about that. It's a different series. So I don't know if I will read this right away or if I'll finish the Mortal Instrument series first. But Jason is already, well on his way to finishing this one, and he's enjoying it. So yeah, I'm excited to read that, but oh my goodness, how beautiful. So if you like the cover, I would rush out to Barnes & Noble or look online, because I don't know how long this will last or how limited of an edition it is, but it's so pretty. And then We bought the first books in two. These are all young adult, mind you. I'm kind of getting into those. I like that there's less language, less smut, less gore, just not as much of the things that you sometimes have to worry about in the adult books. But we got the first in two series that I've been hearing so much about. The first is The Inheritance Games. I believe there's 3 books in this series. And Jason really thought this one sounded interesting too. So yeah, I'm gonna check that one out. It sounds like somebody basically getting an inheritance that she doesn't understand from somebody she didn't know. More about this in my TBR, but it sounds very interesting. Plus, it's green and it's really pretty. Judging those books by their covers, I tell ya. And then we also got the first in the Truly Devious series by Maureen Johnson, which I've been hearing a ton about. I almost was going to get one of these books at the library, but I couldn't find the first one. So I was excited to find this. I think this is more of a dark academia book. A private school kid kind of book. So I've been hearing really good things about the series, so it'll be really fun to start this one. Maybe we'll start these in December, who knows. And then they had all these box sets on the floor at Barnes & Noble because Christmas is coming up. And I have been hearing oodles and oodles about this series. It's a young adult fantasy. Again, kind of a theme. It's kind of something I'm super getting into right now. And I've been hearing so much about this author. She has a few different series, but this series in particular, and I had the first book on my list of books that I wanted to get, or that maybe Jason could get for Christmas or whatever, and they had the whole series for, this series is completed, and they had the whole series for $95, I think, which, it's 8 books, so that didn't really seem bad to me, and I was thinking, okay, well, maybe we should make this a Christmas list thing, and pretty soon Jason's popping on his phone and looking on Amazon, and we were able to get it for $68 on Amazon, which is just a massive bargain. So maybe always check Amazon if you're looking for a deal. But it is the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. First of all, the books are beautiful. The case that they came in is beautiful. And look at these books. I mean, they're a little smaller here, but holy moly, this is giving Game of Thrones vibes for how big that book is. I am so excited to start these, but I'm nervous because I feel like as soon as I start one, I'm just going to want to keep on going. So it's actually inspiring me to maybe do something a little different with my December TBRs, but we'll see. I will chat about that in next week's video, but yeah, super excited about those. Plus they smell so good. Does anything smell as good as a brand new book? I think not. But anyway, yeah, that is where we're at. So I've got 7 books that I am hopeful to finish for November. We'll see. I've got these new books here to add to my already growing pile of TBR books in the corner, plus more visits to the library, which will definitely be coming up. And yeah, definitely becoming a hardcore reader again, which I missed it. I used to read maybe not quite like this, but quite a bit, and I had kind of fallen away from it, and I'm so excited to be back into it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little haul / update, and if you are wanting more book content, there will be another book video out on Friday. I believe it's December 2nd. Excuse me, hiccuping here. Yeah, Friday, December 2nd. And probably that's going to be the pattern for the next little bit here, is going to be some form of bookish type video every week or every couple of weeks, depending on how things are going. But yeah, that's all I've got for you today. So I hope you're having a good day, whatever day it is that you are watching this, and I will see you in the next one. As always, please leave comments, recommendations for books, thoughts on any of the books that I've mentioned here. I would love it. I would love to hear from you. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.